So as I mentioned before, you guys remember what I told you about the big jump from intro to algebra? Yeah, what is that? It's the, yes sir?
Word problems.
Word problems, okay? So in order to do word problems, do you think it's important to be able to translate sentences into an equation? Yeah, see that? See, we're getting ready for these word problems, okay? So this is really important, guys. If you know how to do this, this skill will help you throughout the whole year, right? As I mentioned before, word problems are from chapter 1 through chapter 12. You're gonna see word problems everywhere. So it's really important that you understand and know how to translate sentences into equation. But before we translate sentences to an equation, we're gonna start with phrases first, okay? Then we're gonna move on to equation. It's pretty simple, okay? So there are some phrases that tells you that you're gonna be adding numbers together, okay? Well, even before phrases, can somebody think about or heard of some keywords that describes addition? Raise your hand if you. I heard it. Yeah. Plus. Okay, sure. Yeah. 3 plus 4. You know you're gonna add. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah. Sum. Sum is a word that's used a lot, right? Like sum of a number and 5 or something like that. Yeah. Any other ones? Yeah. And give me an example. How would that be used? Because if you just say 3 and 5, does it necessarily mean you have to add them together? But I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah. More than? Sure. More than. Yes. Huh? Is? Is doesn't really tell you that it's addition, does it? Huh? Yeah. Right. Like 5 and 3 is. I mean, it's not even is. 3 is. Yeah. What does that mean? Do you have to? It doesn't make. Yeah. Huh? Total, sure. Total, right? Total of you have a bunch of stuff. What's the total cost or something like that, right? Okay, good. So we're gonna start with this one right here. More than. We're gonna start with this phrase. 5 more than a number, and I even put a star on this one because all the other ones are straightforward. This one you have to do something. Okay, so write this down. 5 more than a number. Oh wait. And if you're done writing, go ahead and think about what you would. So it turns out the phrases, when you translate, you could translate them into an expressions. So how would you translate this as an algebraic expression? Think about this. Okay. By the way, a number. What do you think that's going to be? A number. Yes. How about? Yes, sir.
A variable.
A variable. Yeah, exactly. Because a lot of you are good thinking about that. So, does anybody think they know how to write this? Yes, sir, in the back here.
5 plus x.
5 plus x. That's what a lot of people will say. Turns out, okay, because 5 comes first, doesn't it? And the number comes later. But it turns out when you have more than or something like that, you have to. Yes, sir.
X plus 5.
Yeah, you have to switch them. You have to. So the order reverses. It's x plus 5, not 5 plus x. And some of you may say, well, it doesn't really matter how you add, right? You could add, it doesn't matter which order you add. It doesn't, right? You still get the same answer, right? 3 plus 5 is the same as 5 plus 3. But to be consistent, okay, and this is what it really means, okay? When you have more than, you have to reverse the order. Is that okay? All the rest, you keep them the same way. Okay? But that's why I put a star there. Whenever you see more than, please reverse the order. And there's one other time when you do that. I'll show you that in a minute. But all the rest, you keep the same way. Okay. Question? We'll get there in a minute. Very good. So somebody said, what if it's less than? Well, that's not talking about addition, right? So let's talk about all the phrases that talk about addition, and we'll get there. Very good. You are correct. Okay. So there, I said we're gonna use x for the number. How about this? Oh, some of you mentioned this already. Sum, right? Sum. Whenever you see this word sum, we know we're talking about adding two numbers or more than two numbers together. The sum of 8 and a number. This time, do you think we changed the order at all? No, this time we don't. Okay, so go ahead. You can fill it out, the expression, if you like. I think a lot of you already know. Oh, wait. Yeah, why don't you tell me, what do you think this becomes when you...
Put x plus 8 equals question mark.
Equals? Do you see any equal sign on this? Yeah, you don't need equals. It's just x. Is it x plus 8 though?
No.
It's 8 plus x, right? Do you see why it's 8 plus x? Because 8 came first and then x, right? It says sum of 8 and a number. So some people think, wait a minute, don't we have to have x first all the time? Is that necessarily true? No, it depends on the question, okay? So please don't think that you have to have a variable first. That's not true. It's, it's whatever the question says, right? Okay, does that make sense? So please keep that in mind. Next, we have increase by. I don't think we set this one, but I think we talked about it. So increase by, a number increased by 7. By the way, do I have to use x as my variable all the time?
No.
No, I could use y, whatever I want. This time I did. But yeah, just, okay, I could use any variables I want. Okay, this is pretty simple. A number increased by 7, what would you write on this one? Yes, sir. Here. X plus 7. Is it 7 plus x or x plus 7, guys? X plus 7. A number comes first, right? So the order, only time, like I said, only time you change the order is when you have more than. And there's another case. I think a lot of you already know what that is. But anyway, so it's x plus 7, right? Any question? Okay, now we're going to move on to, guess what we're going to move on to? Phrases that tells you have to? Subtraction, exactly. Okay, so let's move on. So here you go. Subtractions. So we had more than before, right? Guess what we're going to have now? Less than is exactly right. And now sometimes they use fewer than, the same thing. Okay, they could use less than or fewer than. Do you guys think we need to change the order just like more than, or do you think we keep them the same order? So does 5 come? Is it going to be 5 minus x, or is it going to be x minus 5?
X minus 5.
How many people think x minus 5? Raise your hand. How many people think it's going to be just 5 minus x? So remember I told you we want to be consistent. It is going to change the order. It is going to be x minus 5. So there are only 2 cases. For more than and less than, that's when you switch the order. All the rest of them, you keep the same order. And have I answered your question now? Good. Does this make sense, guys? Okay. So please, for addition, if you forget to switch the order, it doesn't really hurt you too much. But for subtraction, do you think you're going to get the right answer if you don't do this correctly? No. Okay, 3 minus 5 doesn't equal to what? 5 minus 3. The way you subtract, the order matters, doesn't it? Okay, so please note that whenever you have less than or fewer than, something like that, you reverse the order. Otherwise, you will not get the right answer, okay? Next, so we have sum for addition. Anybody know what word we use for like the result of like subtracting 2 numbers? Yeah? Decrease? Oh, yeah, that's actually for subtraction too. But for like the word like sum, what do you think? Which word do we use for when you subtract the result of subtracting numbers together, 2 numbers together? Anybody? It starts with D. Yeah, difference is correct. Very good. So the difference between a number and 4. Now, do we need to reverse the order at all on this one? No. Okay. Go ahead, everybody, write down what you think this would translate to. I'll wait. Okay. Say it again. X minus 4. How many people agree? X minus 4? Okay, very good. You guys are correct. If you didn't get this, right, this is same as before. You just do not change the order. It says the difference means you're subtracting, right, numbers. And what are the 2 numbers? A number and 4, right? So it's x minus 4. Okay, and some of you mentioned this already. Next is a number decreased by 8. So go ahead, write this down and write down the, sorry. Write down the expression. Sorry, I forgot to unfreeze that one. Go ahead, try that. How about, who could tell me what we write here? How about, how about Naomi? What do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong class. How about, sir, right here? What do you think? X minus 8 is correct. Okay, good. And guess what we're going to talk about next? After this? Multiplication. You guessed it right. We're going to talk about multiplication. So, for multiplications, this one's pretty... There. Which word do you think we're going to use for multiplication? Yes, sir? times, sure, we could use times. We had sum for addition, difference for subtraction. What word do you think is going to be used for multiplication? What word describes the result of multiplying like two or more numbers together? Yeah. The product is correct. Very good. So here, the product of 4 and a number. Okay. I think I used y this time, but you don't have to. You could use any variables you like. Go ahead, write down the expression. I'll wait. Okay. How about Mimi? What do you think? 1 times? 4 times? X is correct. I wrote y. Is that okay? Yeah, very good. Okay, so is this pretty straightforward? Do we need to change the order at all? No. Only time we change order is again when you have less than or more than. Or you could have fewer than. Same thing. Okay. All right, let's move on to how about this one? Oh, this is pretty simple. 7 times the number, right? So I mean that's how we read it. So this one's everybody gets this. What is this, guys? Everybody? Oh, it's 4. I'm sorry. Here, 7 times the number. What do you think this is? Go ahead. Oh, wait. Okay. How about Royce? What do you think? 7 times x. Yeah, 7 times x. Do you think it's a good idea to like put that multiplication symbol there? Yeah, because then it may look like 7xy. You know what I mean? So don't put anything, okay, for these. So you'll find that we don't really put multiplication symbol, okay, there, because it looks like x and so forth. Okay, because if there's nothing there, it's multiplication most of the time. Okay, then let's look at. Do I have another one for multiplication? Yeah. How about this? 1/3 of a number. Which one of these are key word for multiplication? Do you think? How about Livy? Of is correct. Turns out of many times means multiplication. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but when you did like percent problems, like 35% of whatever, of means multiplication. So yeah, this of is also it tells you it's multiplication. Okay, so go ahead and write it down. You have the answer? Oh, hold on. People still writing. Okay, that's great. Okay, how about Claire? What do I write? 1/3 times y is correct. Good, I even use y. Now, is it okay to rewrite 1/3 times y as something else? What's y, really? Y is, remember, look at that on my board here, invisible one. Y, could I write y as a fraction? Yeah, as y is y over 1. And how do we multiply a fraction times a fraction? You multiply the, everybody, numerators together and denominators together. So I can rewrite 1/3 y as 1/3 times y over 1. Guess what it becomes, guys? Y over 3, because 1 times y is y. 3 times 1 is 3, right? So it's okay to write y over 3. Same thing, right? 1/3 y is same as y over 3. Is that okay? Any question? All right, good. Guess what we're going to talk about next then? Yeah, that's the only thing that's left, division, right? Okay, for division, we had sum for addition, difference for subtraction, product for multiplication. What word do you think we use for the result of dividing two numbers together? How about, let me give you a hint, not too many of you. It starts with Q. Starts with Q. Okay, not more hands went up. How about Eugene? Quotient is correct, very good, quotient. So quotient is, it's the result when you divide two numbers together. So the quotient of a number and 5, of course, this then, oops, I keep forgetting to unfreeze these things, sorry. The quotient of a number and 5, okay? What would then this look like? If you translate this as an expression, how about, who have I called? Kevin, what do you think?
The quotient of a number and 5.
Uh-huh.
5 divided by.
Okay, so look how it says quotient of a number and 5. What comes first, number or 5?
X divided by.
Yeah, so you want to change your answer now? What do you think? Oh, you said it right. Can you say it again?
X divided by
You got it. X divided by 5. Does that make sense, guys? So do you think you get the right answer if you switch the order on this one? If I wrote 5 divided by x? No, those are two different things, right? Very different. So please be careful, especially subtraction and divisions, right? If you mess up the order, you're not going to get the right answer. So Paige, is there another way to write x divided by 5? Because it turns out we don't really use this division symbol a lot in algebra. X over 5, yeah. X divided by 5 is the same as x over 5, isn't that right? You could write it as a fraction. Because x over 5 means x divided by 5, right? Another way of thinking about this is, what does division really mean in terms of multiplication? If you're dividing, you're same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. What's the reciprocal of 5, guys? 1 over 5. So what's x times 1 over 5? Well, x is x over 1, like before, right? So you get x over 5. Does that make sense? Okay, so we'll talk about that kind of stuff later more. Okay, so here, how about, well, this is this is the very obvious. A number divided by 10, of course, I think everyone knows, is going to be x divided by 10, right? What's another way of writing x divided by 10 this way? Go ahead, you guys write it out. Wait, okay. So how about angels? What do you think? How do we rewrite x divided by 10? Is there another way to write x divided by 10? Yes. X over 10, as we said before. You all get that, right? It's the same as x times 1 over 10, right? So you get x over 1 times 1 over 10, you get x over 10. Are we good? Easy? Okay, now look at all these. What did all this phrase become? They became, when we translate them, they became in, yeah.
Word problems.
Oh, no. It's just like a number divided by 10, and then we were able to translate this as an expression. Very good expression. Okay. Okay. So then what about sentences? That's what we really wanted to get to, right, after all. What do you think we will get when we actually translate sentences? Yes. You get an equation is correct. Very good. Remember, equation is an expression equal to another expression. So if you have a sentence, turns out you will get an equation. Okay. And that's what we're trying to get to. Okay. So write that down. And let's do an example where I give you a sentence. Let's see whether it actually does become an equation. Okay. So here we go. So on your homework or test or quiz, it will say translate the sentence into an equation. Does it ask you to solve an equation? No. All it asks you to do is what? Translate it. Okay. So please read the direction carefully, because some people would actually translate it and then try to solve it, and it'll take you a lot longer time, right? The instruction would just say, most of them, it will just say translate, because we're just trying to learn how to translate them. So here's a sentence. The sum of a number and 12 is 78. Okay, here's a sentence. Now, as soon as you see this, what word should you really what word should you? Oh yeah, that tells me what word tells you that this is going to be what sort of operation we need here. How about Samantha? Samara. I'm sorry? Sum. Very good. Because sum tells you what? It's going to be an addition. And what are we adding? Can somebody tell me? Because I could actually do this. If I were to just hide this part right here. Right? This is same thing as what we had before, right? It's just a phrase. So it says sum of number and 12. What are we adding up together? How about Patty?
A number and 12.
And number and 12, right? So that's what we're going to do. So sum tells us to add these two things together, and a number. What are we going to translate a number to when you're translating? A number should translate into, how about who haven't I called today? Lindsay, what do you think? The number. What should we write number as? How should we translate number when you write it into an equation or expression? A number should translate as, like how we had number. What would you write? Number and 12. Sum of number and 12. What would you write?
Like x plus 12.
Yeah. Sorry. I guess my question was too. Yeah. Yeah. So here, what I meant to say is a number would translate into x. Right. How would you write number? Yeah, exactly. But you know what how to do. Okay, so sum of number and 12 is just simply x plus 12. Right. Very good. And what does is mean in math, guys? Is. Oops, I'm going to try to hide the answer. Anybody? Is. This is sort of obvious. So sum of number and 12 is. Is means, how about Eric? Equals to. Exactly right. That's how we get an equation. Okay? By the way, right here. Do I have an equation right now? No. I just have an expression and have an equal symbol, equal sign, that's all. Now, how do we translate 78? 78 translates as what, class? 78. Okay, so that's easy. Numbers, translating numbers is really easy. It's just same thing. So there you go. That's how you do it, okay? So it says sum of a number and 12 is 78. There you go. Now, do I need to solve it? You don't need to. Do we know how to solve it? Yeah, but you don't need to do that right now, okay? All right, don't worry. We're going to ask you to do that very soon. Okay, so let's look at the next then example. Here, I even put a star on this one. Try to hide the answer. There you go. Twice the sum of a number and 4 is 10. Go ahead and write this down. And this time it's a little bit different. We have this word twice there that we haven't really talked about. But I'm sure we could do this one. Okay, so go ahead and write this down. I'll wait. Some of you are discussing, whoa, what does it mean? Okay, here we go. So what does it mean? What do they mean by twice, by the way? Like twice. I'm twice as old as you are or something like that. What does that mean, twice? How about Jason? What do you think? Like you have twice as much money as someone else or something like that. What's that mean when you say twice?
I don't know, 2 times as much.
2 times as much is exactly right. So twice means 2 times as much, right? So what are we twicing right now? It says twice of what? Okay. How about Matthew? Twice of what are they talking about here? A number. Yeah, what is that number? Because there's a number and 4. Oh, you think it's just the number? Actually, no. We're not just twicing the number only. We are, look at what it says. Can you read this one, Matthew? What's it say? Twice the sum, right? So when they said twice the sum, so you're not just twicing the number, you're twicing the whole thing, the sum. And what is the sum, guys? The sum of this will be what? Brandon? The number and 4. And what do we do to get the sum of the number and the 4? We, class, add them together. And of course, what does is mean? Is means equal, 10 means 10 means 10. So there you go. This is what they're talking about. How many people got this one right? Raise your hand. Got this. Did anybody leave out the parentheses? Would you get this right if you left it out though? Yeah? No, you would not. Because if you left out the parentheses, what are you twicing then? You're only twicing the x, the number. Does it say to twice the number only, or does it say to twice the sum? Sum. Does that make sense? Guys, please note that we have to have the grouping symbol around x plus 4, right? Otherwise, you would not be twicing the sum. You would only be twicing the x or the number. Is that clear, Eric? Do you understand that? I'm Sam. Sam, does that make sense? You get that? So, let's see. Any question? This is really important. Yes, sir.
Wait, so instead of 2, wouldn't it be squared?
No. If something is twice, it's 2 times something. If it's square, it means you multiply the number by itself. Right? So it'll say square if it's square. Twice or 3 times of a number doesn't mean square or cube of a number, does it? Right? Does that make sense? I have 2 times as much money as you. It doesn't mean I square how much you have. I multiply by 2. Right? Okay, so then if you really got this, try this one. Example 2b, and there's a reason why I named it example 2b, because it's very similar to example 2, isn't that right? Right? It actually has almost same. I have the same. I'm using same words as above, but I kind of rearranged them. It says the sum of twice a number and 4 is 10. Okay. Do you think we're gonna get the same equation as above, as example 2? No? Okay, go ahead. Everybody think about it. I'll give you time. And if you're kind of confused, you could talk to your group. Remember how you have groups of 4? Okay. Some of you have groups of 3. Go ahead. I'll give you time. How many people thought that you get the same equation as above? Raise your hand. Few of you, okay. How many people thought that you get different one than the one? Okay, a lot of you. Now, let me ask you this then. It says the sum of, right? So first of all, sum means you're going to add two numbers together, or it could be more than two, okay? But in this case, two numbers. It says the sum of, what are we adding? It says twice the number. So what are we twicing? Are we twicing the sum or twice a number? A number. Do you see the difference between, so, Dakota, what do you think, sir? What do you think this would become?
So it would be 2x plus 4.
Exactly right. It'll be 2x plus 4 equals to 10 without the parentheses around that 2x. Do you guys see the difference?
Yeah.
Example 2, you're twicing the sum, right? The sum is that sum of the two numbers. You got to, right, put a grouping symbol around it, right? Here, you're just twicing a number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is this clear? Sam, does that make sense? Okay. All right, good. All right. Let's move on. Okay, let's see who's paying attention on this one. Hey, you should all get this right, but if you're not careful, anyway, okay, try this. 3 less than the number is 12. I cannot tell you how many times people mess this up because they forget something about that less than, right? Number less than, more than, fewer than, things like that. All right, I'll wait. Write this down. 3 less than the number is 12. Carly, what'd you get?
I got x minus 3 equals 12.
Oh, isn't it 3 minus x? It says, I see 3 first. It says 3. No? Because I see 3 first. Isn't this 3 minus x? It says 3 less than the number.
Oh.
No, you fell for it. You're right. You're right. No. You're right. You're right. It is x minus 3. Carly, why did you switch the order around? Even though you see 3 first. Why did you do that? Yeah, remember less than? That's when you need to what? Change the order, right, guys? Does that make sense? Okay, so good. You guys remember. How many people remember and got this right? Okay, how many people forgot and sort of wrote 3 minus x? Okay, that's okay now, but don't do that on the test, right? Just because you see 3 first doesn't mean, right, 3 will come out first, especially, right, if you have less than or more than or greater than this. Is this clear? All right, good. Okay, let's move on. Okay, how many people, I said we're going to switch the gear a little bit and talk about formula for a second. Because on your homework tonight, they're going to ask you to use this formula to find something. How many people know how to find the formula for perimeter of a rectangle? What's the perimeter of a rectangle? What's the formula for it? So let me see. Here's a perimeter rectangle. Here you go. Here's a picture of this rectangle. If I could. There you go. All right. So how about Samuel? What do you think? 2L. 2L plus 2W. That's correct. Now, I cannot tell you how many times people write. Oh, could I do it this way? 2 times the sum of the length and width. Is that the same thing? Okay, so you could either use this one or this one. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Use 2 length width. Just like
2 length.
Oh wait, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, if you do 2 length plus width, then you don't get a perimeter.
No, I was thinking.
Okay, but you could do 2 times the sum. Yeah, very good. Now, guess what people do to make silly mistake? They write L plus W. Is that right? Does that give you a perimeter? No. Why do you think people do that? Eric? I mean Aaron? No, it's Samuel?
Because they're thinking about area.
They're thinking about the area, right? What's the area of a rectangle?
Base times height.
Or length times width, right? So they only think about length times width, but it's when they say perimeter, they just think about that and then just do L plus W. And not only that, most of the time, many times when we give you these rectangle, do we write L twice and W twice? No, we don't. We just give you the length and width. That's it. And they only see the length and width, and they just add those two things together, get a perimeter, right? That would not be correct, right? What's a perimeter? It is the distance around the figure, right? So you just add all the sides together. Does that make sense? It's sort of a review for you. So please don't do, I'm telling you guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people do L plus W for the perimeter. Please don't do that. Okay, either do 2L plus 2W or 2 times the sum of those, right, length and width. Okay, Samuel, question? Oh, no? On your homework tonight, they're going to give you something like this. They don't want you to solve it. They just want you to translate this into an equation. They're going to say the size of a rectangle are x and x plus 4. And notice, do they even give you a picture? No. Do you think it's a good idea to draw a picture? Yes, it is. Every time you are, every time they give you something like this where they have a triangle, rectangle, and they don't give you a picture, draw the picture, label it and so forth, okay? And they say the perimeter is 87. Go ahead and write an equation, okay, with this given information. I'll wait, okay, go ahead. So I didn't tell you this, but how many people actually start off with that formula first? Do you think it's a good idea to start with the formula? I think so. Whenever you have, have a formula, start with the formula first. And how many of you drew the picture? Okay, this is helpful, okay, to actually draw the picture. So to find the perimeter, and I know why people just do length plus width, because they only see the x and x plus x minus 4, those two expressions, and they just add them together for a perimeter. Are you going to get the right answer? No. So I'm going to use this formula, 2w plus 2l. Could I have you use 2 times w plus l? Is that okay? Yeah, same thing. So what do they tell us? The perimeter is what? They told us already the perimeter, which was? 87. How many people got 87 equals to 2x plus 2, and using the parentheses, remember when you plug in, I told you to use parentheses. X minus 4. Raise your hand if you got this. Did anybody get different answer? Oh, what'd you get there?
Well, I simplified.
Oh, you simplified. Does it? Yeah, you didn't have to, but before you simplified, did you have this? Okay, good. That's what I'm asking. Okay, so on your homework tonight, please read the direction carefully. It's not going to say to solve. Okay, that's coming up in a very short while. So all we're doing is practicing translating things into an equation. Yes, sir, Samuel. You got something? What'd you get? You got 87 what?
87 equals 2 parentheses x plus parentheses x plus 4 minus 4 parentheses.
You have to actually. Oh, you got this. Oh yeah. So I said it's fine if you use the other formula. Good. That's fine. Any question? Are we good? All right.